Good day. This is Bill, and what I wanted to give you in this video is a tour through the plans of the kit. We're going to be distributing the kit probably starting early this coming week, which will be the first week in November, and you're going to be able to pick up the kits at the front desk of the main building of the Science Center. You just pull in that little circular driveway, go in, give them your name, make sure you're wearing a mask, make sure you've got some sort of ID so they know who you really are, and you'll be able to pick up your stick and tissue kit. Okay, if you are watching this video, one of the things you want to have done before watching it is look through the questions that the knowledge check that comes afterwards, and you want to make sure that you have an idea of the sort of questions that are going to be in the knowledge check. We just went past one just now. I don't know if you noticed it. I hope you did. If not, go take a look at the questions before watching the rest of this video. We have 3 or 4 different models because there weren't enough P-51 Mustangs in the pipeline. So I'm going to make this kind of a general tour of the plans that come with each of the models. As you can see in the picture in front of you right now, we're looking at a full-size side view of the P-51. And you can see the cockpit area, and we're looking at its port side, its left side, and you get a pretty good view of the pieces. It's kind of as though you're looking at an x-ray. You can see the bones of the model inside the skin. Up forward of the cockpit, of course, is where the engine will go, and cockpit's in the center, and aft is the tail. We can look down a little bit and see what the nose looks like. Now, this is a picture of a typical plane that you might build with stick and tissue, and the nose of the drawing shows you what would happen if you happen to put a rubber band attached to your propeller on it. The one to the left shows you what you would do if you put a little gas motor on your model. I'm not going to put anything on my model. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. In fact, I'm not even going to cover mine with tissue because I love looking at the kind of skeleton of the model. And the reason we're doing this is so that we learn how an aircraft is assembled. It's amazing that the model plane that we're all going to build is built almost exactly the same way as the full-size replica that we're going to build once we get back into Taylor. Here's the view of the aft section of the aircraft. You'll notice while I'm talking about these different parts of the aircraft that I'm using what sounds like nautical terms. It's funny, and I'm not quite sure why it happened this way, but aircraft nomenclature and ship nomenclature, or boat nomenclature, is very similar. We talk about forward and aft. We talk about port and starboard. We talk about above and below. And we do that both when we're talking about boats and ships and when we're talking about aircraft. Now, we also say right and left when we're talking about aircraft, and we don't do that when talking about ships or boats. Or if you do, they'll think you're kind of a landlubber, but that's okay. Anyway, we're looking at the aft section of the tail, and one of the interesting things about the P-51, I'm sure you've already gathered this, is that it is a tail dragger, meaning when it is sitting on the ground, its tail literally is almost dragging. So it's not like a Piper Cub, where it has tricycle landing gear, and it sits kind of in the same attitude it'll be in when it's flying. The tail draggers sit with the nose up in the air, the tail down, which means when you're sitting in the cockpit and ready to taxi, you can't see anything in front of you. These are issues that were pointed out in some of the videos we looked at. But you'll find it's when it's in the air, it's fine because you're looking straight ahead and you can see what's going on. But when you're on the ground, it's a little bit difficult because it is a tail dragger. Anyway, so what you're seeing when you look at this kind of X-ray of the P-51, you'll see all the strips of wood that are inside that make up kind of the skeleton of the aircraft. And you'll see the ones that go forward and back, the ones that are horizontal. In some cases, they're called longerons. In other cases, they have other names. We'll get to those as we go along. One of the important things that we need to get a hold of right away are the names of the different parts of the aircraft. And if you look at them right now, you can see they're pretty straightforward. The rudder here is the thing that steers it to the right and to the left. The entire area here is part of the tail section. The flat thing that you can't see because it's kind of facing you is called the stabilizer, and you'll see it's over here in the small picture of the plane, over here in the other picture of the plane. So we have the stabilizer and we have the rudder. We have the back of the cockpit, and we have the tail wheel here. As we go through these plans, you're going to want to get to know the different names for the different parts, and we'll get to that in a little bit. So here's our next step in looking at our plans, and that is the stages you're going to go through when you start building your aircraft, your model aircraft, your stick and tissue aircraft. So I'm going to pause here, and you can take a look at the knowledge check questions, see how you're doing, and then we'll come back to this drawing for a second video. So, see you in a bit. Thanks.